the talking skull that tells your fate. Believe it or not. The village of Mubako sits on the edge of an ancient forest, where the elders say the veil between worlds is thin. As darkness falls, the camera pans across humble clay homes with thatched roofs, smoke rising from cooking fires. Children are being hurried inside by worried mothers. Dogs bark anxiously in the distance. An old man's voice speaks, cracked with age. There are things in this world that cannot be explained, things that should remain buried. But sometimes they find their way back. The camera follows a young woman named Zola, walking alone on a dirt path as the last light fades from the sky. She hums softly to herself, unaware of the shadow that seems to follow her movements. Suddenly, she hears it, a faint whisper carried on the wind. "Zola, I've been waiting for you." She stops, heart pounding. "Who's there?" Her voice trembles. Only silence answers. Then, a dry, rattling laugh seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The light of her lantern catches something half buried in the dirt beside the path. Something white and gleaming. A human skull. As Zola leans closer, the impossible happens. The skull's jaw moves, it speaks. "I know when you will die, child. Would you like me to tell you?" Zola screams and drops her lantern. The screen goes black. The legend morning light bathes the village square as elders gather under the shade of a massive baobab tree. Whispers spread like wildfire. The talking skull has returned. Grandfather Kofi, the oldest man in the village, sits heavily on his wooden stool. His eyes, clouded with cataracts, seem to see beyond this world. "It has been 50 years, he says, silencing the murmurs. 50 years since the skull last spoke. It brings nothing but death and sorrow." Young Zola sits trembling as she recounts her story. "It knew my name. It said it could tell me when I would die." Kofi nods gravely. The skull speaks only truth, bitter truth that no one should hear. Those who listen to their fate meet it sooner than they should. The village chief, Ado, a practical man who values progress over superstition, scoffs. "It's just an old story to frighten children. There must be a logical explanation." But the fear in Zola's eyes cannot be dismissed. Grandfather Kofi begins the tale that every elder knows but few dare to speak. Long ago, there lived a powerful diviner named Kamau. He could see into the realm of spirits and foretell the future. His gift brought many seekers to our village, those wanting to know their destinies. But Kamau's pride grew with his fame. He began to manipulate what he saw, twisting futures for payment or revenge. The ancestors grew angry. They cursed him so that even in death he would continue to see the truth of life and death. But he would be trapped, unable to rest. His flesh rotted away, but his skull remained, cursed to speak the exact moment and manner of death to any who dare ask. Those who hear their fate become obsessed, trying to avoid it, only to cause the very thing they fear. The camera pans across the frightened faces of villagers. "The last time the skull appeared," Kofi continues, "half our village perished. We buried it deep in the forest of shadows, where no one would find it. Until now." Chief Ado stands. "Enough of these stories. I'll find this skull and prove it's nothing but an old bone and someone's cruel trick." Zola clutches the chief's arm. "Please don't go. Something evil surrounds it." But Ado's mind is made up. "Who will come with me to put an end to this nonsense?" Only 3 men volunteer. Jabari, the strongest hunter, Tafari, Ado's younger brother, and Kwame, a young teacher who has returned from the city with modern ideas. Kofi shakes his head sadly. Those who seek the skull often find more than they bargained for. The search. The search party follows Zola to where she encountered the skull, but it's no longer there. Only a depression in the earth remains. "It moved?" Kwame asks, disbelief in his voice. "The skull finds those who are curious about their fate," Kofi says, having insisted on joining despite his age. "It doesn't stay in one place." They follow a trail into the forest of shadows. The trees grow thicker, blocking out the sunlight. Strange sounds echo around them. whispers that sound almost like words, but not quite. Jabari, always alert, stops suddenly. Someone is watching us. They scan the dense undergrowth but see nothing. Then Tafari points. There, something white. Through the trees they glimpse the skull, perched impossibly on a fallen log. As they approach, it seems to grin wider. Addo reaches for it, but Kofi grabs his wrist. Do not touch it directly, use this. He hands Addo a cloth bag. The chief carefully places the bag over the skull and picks it up. It feels strangely warm, like something alive. We should destroy it, Jabari suggests. It cannot be destroyed, Kofi replies. Many have tried. Fire will not burn it. Stone will not crush it. The curse protects it. Then what do we do? Tafari asks. We must return it to the sacred cave beyond the waterfall. Seal it with the proper rituals. As they turn to leave, a voice speaks from inside the bag, dry and ancient like the rustling of dead leaves. One of you will not leave this forest alive. Would you like to know which one? Kwame drops the bag in shock. The skull rolls out, its empty eye socket somehow focusing on each man in turn. I see all your endings, all your fears. Which of you is brave enough to hear the truth? The temptation. That night they camp at the forest's edge, the bagged skull placed in the center of their circle. None of them can sleep, watching the cloth for any movement. It's just a trick, Addo insists, though his voice lacks conviction. Someone using ventriloquism or hidden speakers. Kwame, the educated one, agrees. There must be a scientific explanation. But when they examine the skull in the firelight, they find nothing. No hidden devices, no signs of modern tampering. Just old, yellowed bone that somehow speaks. As the others finally drift into uneasy sleep, Tafari remains awake, staring at the bag. A low voice whispers to him alone. You have always lived in your brother's shadow, Tafari. Don't you want to know if you'll ever step out of it? I can tell you exactly when your moment will come. Tafari reaches for the bag, then hesitates, remembering Kofi's warning. The voice grows more insistent. Your brother has already asked me, don't you want to know what I told him? This is a lie. Addo has done no such thing, but Tafari's jealousy makes him vulnerable. He opens the bag and peers inside. Closer, the skull whispers. I must speak directly to you. Tafari brings the skull near his ear. The camera cuts away as his eyes widen in horror. In the morning, the others find Tafari staring blankly at the rising sun, the skull now back in its bag. When they speak to him, he doesn't respond. What happened? Addo shakes his brother. Tafari blinks slowly. I know now. I know when and how. His voice sounds hollow, like an echo of the skull's. The journey. They continue toward the sacred cave, Tafari moving like a man sleepwalking. The forest grows darker and stranger. Vines seem to reach for them. Birds fall silent as they pass. The forest remembers the skull, Kofi explains. Nature itself fears it. They reach a river they must cross. As Tafari steps into the water, he freezes. This is it, he whispers. This is where it said I would. Before he can finish, the water erupts as a crocodile lunges. Jabari reacts instantly, driving his spear into the beast's eye. The crocodile thrashes, then sinks beneath the churning red water. Tafari collapses on the bank, shaking uncontrollably. It said, water, teeth. The skull told you a crocodile would kill you here? Addo asks. Yes, but Jabari saved me. The skull was wrong. Hope dawns on Tafari's face. Kofi looks troubled. The skull is never wrong. It may be that... Before he can finish, they hear a strange gurgling noise. Tafari clutches his chest, gasping for breath. Water pours from his mouth, though he hasn't swallowed any. His lungs fill mysteriously, his face turning blue. The others watch in horror, powerless to help, as Tafari drowns on dry land. I am never wrong. The skull's voice comes from the bag. Who will be next to hear their fate? The cave. The remaining 4 men carry Tafari's body in grim silence. Addo's grief turns to rage. "This ends now," he declares, snatching up the bag containing the skull. "What are you doing?" Kofi asks, alarmed. "I'm going to make it tell me how to destroy it." "No." Kofi tries to stop him, but Addo pulls the skull from the bag and holds it up to his face. "Tell me how to destroy you." The skull's jaw moves slowly. "You cannot destroy me, Chief Addo, but I will tell you this. You will die with your greatest fear realized, alone, forgotten, no one to carry on your name." Addo hurls the skull against a tree, but it doesn't break. Instead, it laughs. A terrible echoing sound that makes the birds explode from the treetops. "We must hurry to the cave," Kofi urges. They travel deeper into the forest, the air growing thick and hard to breathe. Strange mists curl around their feet. Whispers follow them. Finally, they reach the waterfall, a curtain of water plunging into darkness. Behind it lies the cave. As they approach, Kwame slips on the wet stones. Jabari catches his arm, pulling him back from the edge. "Thank you," Kwame gasps. "I thought—" "Your time is not yet," the skull interrupts from inside the bag Kofi now carries. "But soon. Would you like to know how many hours remain?" Kwame covers his ears. "Don't listen," Kofi warns the others. "The more it speaks, the stronger it grows." They enter the cave behind the waterfall. Ancient paintings cover the walls, images of people bowing before a seated figure holding a skull. "Kamau," Kofi explains, pointing to the figure. "Before his curse." At the back of the cave stands a stone altar. Kofi places the skull upon it and begins to chant in an old language none of the others understand. He sprinkles powders from small pouches around the skull. "It won't work this time, old man," the skull taunts. "I've grown too strong. Too many have heard their fates." Kofi continues chanting, but suddenly clutches his chest, falling to his knees. "Grandfather!" Kwame rushes to his side. "My heart!" Kofi gasps. "It's my time. I've always known." He presses a small pouch into Kwame's hand. "Finish it. The final powder must be placed inside the skull while speaking the sealing words." He whispers the ancient phrase to Kwame. As life leaves Kofi's eyes, the skull laughs again. "Two down. Who's next?" The final confrontation. Addo, consumed by grief and rage for his brother, lunges for the skull. "Tell me my fate now, demon. I'm not afraid." Jabari tries to hold him back. "Chief, remember Kofi's warning." But Addo breaks free, grabbing the skull and holding it to his ear. His expression changes from rage to horror to despair. "No, it cannot be." He backs away from the others, eyes wild. "Stay away from me, all of you." "What did it tell you?" Kwame asks. "That I would kill my closest friends before dying alone." Addo draws his knife. "It wants me to. It's making me want to." His hand shakes as he fights against an invisible force. The knife inches toward his own throat. "Chief, put down the knife," Jabari says calmly, approaching with open hands. "I can't control it," Addo cries as the knife suddenly slashes outward. Jabari falls, clutching his stomach, blood seeping between his fingers. The skull rolls from Addo's grasp, coming to rest facing Kwame. "Only you remain, teacher, the man of science. Do you believe now? Would you like to know your fate? It's quite interesting." Kwame looks from the dying Jabari to Addo, who fights the compulsion to turn the knife on himself. "This ends now," Kwame says, taking up Kofi's pouch. The skull's voice turns silky. "I could tell you great things, teacher. When you will achieve greatness. How your ideas will change the world. Don't you want to know?" Kwame kneels before the skull. "Yes," he says. "Tell me." The skull's jaw opens wide. "Come closer." As Kwame leans in, he whispers, "I already know my fate. I make it myself." In one swift motion, he pours the powder into the skull's open mouth and speaks Kofi's words. The skull screams, a sound of rage and ancient pain. The cave trembles. Stones fall from above. "You tricked Me. No, Kwame replies. You tricked yourself. Your pride was always your downfall, Kamau. The skull begins to crack, lines spreading across its surface like a spider's web. Light pours from within. Run! Kwame shouts to Addo, who has regained control of himself. Together they carry Jabari toward the cave entrance as the walls collapse behind them. The aftermath. In the village, life slowly returns to normal. A month has passed since the cave collapsed, sealing the skull, hopefully forever. Jabari recovered from his wound. Addo, humbled by the experience, has become a more thoughtful leader, establishing a memorial for his brother and Kofi. Zola has found peace, no longer haunted by the skull's whisper. But Kwame remains troubled. Late at night, he sits alone, writing in his journal. The camera zooms in on his words. I sometimes hear it still. The skull's last words to me before it cracked. It told me I would be the one to free it again. That 50 years from now I would return to the cave. I tell myself it lied. That fate can be changed. He closes the journal and looks out his window at the full moon. But what if it spoke truth? What if the cycle continues? What if the skull is never truly gone? The camera pans away from his window, across the sleeping village, to the distant waterfall. For just a moment, a faint light glows behind the water like a candle in a skull's empty eye, and a whisper seems to ride the night wind. Believe it or not, I am waiting.